Roberto Muylaert was born in Santos, Brazil in 1935. He's an expert in World War II, especially on the submarine war. He graduated from Mackenzie University in Sao Paulo as a civil engineer in 1959. Publisher, editor, and writer, he has published 9 books. Today, we have the chance to meet him to present his newest title, entitled Alarm, and published by Eurobox. Let's welcome them, Roberto, who's right now connected with us. Hi, Roberto, and thank you for accepting our invitation.
Hello, folks. I'm very happy to be here.
So, first of all, please tell us what is Alarm about.
Well, I think it's a sad story at the same time a very, very funny story because it's about a submarine, a German submarine, U-199, that came to the coast of Brazil to sink Brazilian ships that were sending food and many things to Europe. So the Germans had the interest of sinking those ships. And at the same time, since we had one of the officers were from Brazil. By the way, in Brazil, we have a large German colony in the state of Santa Catarina. And many of those inhabitants of Santa Catarina went to the German Navy because they were sons of Germans. At the same time, had the Nazi Party very developed in Santa Catarina, things that people in Europe usually don't know. So we had one Brazilian petty officer in the submarine, and he had a good idea to have a caipirinha in the coast of Brazil with the submarine. You know what a caipirinha is. It is a drink of sugar cane, a strong drink, by the way. So when he went south, he decided to stop at Praia Grande. That is a place where there were also a German hotel, and this is not fiction, this is true. The only hotel we had at this beach was called German Hotel, and the owner was a Nazi supporter. So they went there and had the caipirinha, of course. And well, then I won't say many things, but it's a real story, except for the Brazilian sailor or petty officer that could have been true, because we have stories of many people from the state of Santa Catarina going to war. Well, after that, before that, the same Brazilian sailor, I tell the story of him in New York, facing New York. The Americans are completely obliterated. They didn't know anything about the war at that time. When the war started, German submarines went to New York, to the coast of the States, and sunk something like 400 ships, an absurd. And the Americans didn't notice. After a long time, they saw. So we start with this sailor in the coast of New York. Afterward, he goes to the coast of Brazil and decided to have a caipirinha.
So, why this interest of yours in World War II? When and why did you feel the need to write down this book and then publish it?
Well, I think that my interest started with the atmosphere of what World War II in Brazil when I was a child. I was 5 to 7 years old at that time. You see, by my age, that I was a kid at the time. And we had some signals that we were a little afraid, because in Brazil we had the so-called blackout. You know what is a blackout, of course, that you don't have any light on. Uh, well, to avoid foreign attacks. But this was something crazy, because we didn't have, we were at 10,000 kilometers from Germany, and they didn't have any carriers. So you can imagine how stupid it was for the Brazilian government to do that, at least in my city, São Paulo, that is 700 meters high and 10,000 kilometers from Germany. But since I was a child, and every night they turned off all the lights, it was something very strange for a child. And there was a kind of a policeman on the street, and he used to call, to ring the bell, if he saw from the street any light that could come from the house. So this made an impression to me, that now that I am 87, I am 87, I still have the sensation that makes me write this book. And another one about the World War II that I wrote too, that was a visit of Roosevelt in Brazil, in the northeast of Brazil, in 1943. During the war, Roosevelt came to Brazil to meet the Brazilian president. So those stories were always in my head, impressed me too much. And the only way to put this from my this impression off was writing books.
And we're glad that you published this book. I just would like to ask you one last message for your readers to conclude the interview.
Well, I think World War II is one of the most successful, uh, publications in terms of public interest. And there are almost everything about World War II, and especially about Hitler, that was already written. But I think it's quite original to have one true story in the coast of Brazil, where they sank something like uh, 34 ships, Brazilian ships. And to finish, I think it's quite impressive to see the states of the Northeast that didn't even know that there was a war, waking up with 150 dead people in their beaches without knowing even there was a war, from Brazilian ships that were sunk during the night. So I think it's the name of this book is Originality. It's completely original, about one theme that is very, very popular.
Many thanks, Roberto. Many thanks for your time again. And of course, we want to wish you best luck with this interesting book.
Good. Thank you very much.
Alarm offers a vivid and powerful details, a deep insight into the submarine battles during World War II, and a realistic representation not only of the life of soldiers on a sub, but of Brazil from 1942. It is available in bookstores and digital platforms, and it's a publication by Eurobox.